The envelope felt heavy in my hands, not from the weight of the paper, but from the betrayal it contained. My own daughter, the child I'd raised alone after her father passed, had written the words that would shatter my world. "Mom, we've found a wonderful assisted living facility for you. It's for the best. For the best." She thought I was a burden to be managed. She was about to learn that a real burden has sharp teeth and a long memory. Hello, my dear friends, I'm Ash. Welcome to my fireside, where we share stories not just of heartbreak, but of the quiet strength that rises from the ashes. This is a tale of a mother's love twisted into a ledger of debt, and the moment a daughter learned that some accounts can never be closed. If you've ever felt the sting of being taken for granted, if you believe that family is built on respect, not obligation, then you'll understand the journey I'm about to share. Don't forget to subscribe and share your own stories in the comments below. This is the story of how my daughter tried to put me away, and how I taught her the true meaning of a burden. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. The paper was thick, expensive, the kind my daughter, Chloe, always used. It spoke of Silver Birch Manor in glowing terms, activities, safety, round-the-clock care. It was a sales pitch for my own obsolescence. My hands, which had once held her tiny ones, now trembled as I read the final paragraph. "We've already put a deposit down. The movers will be here on the 15th. This is so hard for me, Mom, but it's what's best for everyone." Everyone. The word echoed in the silence of my home, the home I'd shared with her father, the home where I'd painted her nursery and hosted her wedding reception in the garden. I was 72. I had a touch of arthritis and sometimes forgot a name, but I was still me. I paid my bills, tended my garden, and cherished my independence. To Chloe and her husband, Mark, I had become a problem. A liability. A burden. The confrontation came that evening. They arrived together, a united front in their designer casual wear. Chloe couldn't meet my eyes. "Mom, you got the letter," she began, her voice tight. "Please don't make this difficult." "Difficult?" I asked, my voice dangerously calm. "You're evicting me from my own life, and you ask me not to make it difficult?" "It's not an eviction," Mark interjected, his tone the same one he used to placate difficult clients at his law firm. "It's a transition. The house is too much for you. Those stairs are a lawsuit waiting to happen." "I've been walking those stairs for 40 years, I replied. "I know every creak in the wood. This isn't about the stairs, and we all know it." Chloe finally looked at me, and I saw not guilt, but impatience. "Mom, be reasonable. We worry about you constantly. This way, we'll have peace of mind." "Your peace of mind," I clarified. "What about mine? What about the peace of mind of a woman who wants to live in the home she built with the man she loved?" "Dad's been gone for 10 years, Chloe said, and the dismissal in her voice was a fresh wound. "You can't live in the past forever. This is about your future. A safe, comfortable future." I looked at my daughter, this stranger I had nourished with my own body, and I saw the truth. She saw my life as a story that was already over, and she was eager to close the book. The love I had poured into her had curdled into condescension. So, I did what I had always done. I acquiesced. I let my shoulders slump. I let a tear escape, a real one, born of genuine grief. I played the part of the defeated old mother, too tired to fight. I saw the relief flood their faces. The problem was being solved. "Okay," I whispered, the picture of surrender. "If it's what you think is best." They left, buoyant with their victory, promising to handle all the details. The moment their car disappeared down the street, the performance ended. The grief hardened into something else, a cold, crystalline resolve. They thought my mind was fading? They had no idea how sharp it could be. For the past 5 years, ever since Mark's business had a brush with bankruptcy, I had been their silent partner. It started small, $5,000 for a tax payment they'd forgotten to save for. Then $10,000 to renovate their kitchen before a party to impress Mark's partners. Then the big one, $50,000 to cover a payroll shortfall that would have sunk his firm. I had the money. My husband, Thomas, had been a shrewd investor, and I had managed his estate with care. It was my security, my legacy. Each time, it was a loan. Each time, the promises of repayment were fervent, then faded. They paid me back in excuses and in the currency of my access to my grandchildren. I was invited over more when they needed something. I was included in vacations I partially funded. I was their lender of last resort, and they treated me with the fawning deference of debtors who never intended to pay. But I am my father's daughter. And my father was an accountant. I had kept records. Every loan, every withdrawal from my savings to cover their lifestyle, was meticulously documented in a small, leather-bound ledger I kept hidden in a box of old photo albums. I had the check images, the bank transfers, their signed, grateful promises on expensive stationery. The total was $187,650. They had forgotten. They had absorbed my money into their lives as if it were their birthright. And now, they were sending me away. The plan formed in my mind, fully realized, as I sat in Thomas's old armchair. They wanted to make my life small and manageable? I would return the favor. I would give them a burden so vast, so public, and so inescapable it would redefine their lives. I wasn't going to sue them. That was too clean, too private. I wanted something with more theater. The following day, while they were at work, I made 2 phone calls. The first was to my lawyer, a ferocious woman named Margaret who had handled Thomas's estate. I explained the situation, the money, the ledger. "They're claiming you're incompetent to force you into this home," Margaret said, her voice crisp. "The first thing we do is get a full medical and psychological evaluation. It's your best defense." "I'll do that," I said. "But first, I want to call in the debts." "We can send a formal demand letter," she offered. "No," I said. "Not a letter. I have something else in mind." My second call was to the local newspaper, to the business desk. I asked for the reporter who covered local finance and philanthropy. His name was Ben. "Mr. Carter," I began, my voice the perfect blend of frail and determined. "My name is Eleanor Vance. I'm wondering if you'd be interested in a story about generational wealth and generational debt." I met him at a quiet cafe the next day. I brought the ledger. I showed him the documents. I told him about the assisted living facility. His eyes widened as he connected the dots. "They owe you nearly $200,000, he said, whistling softly. "And they're trying to put you in a home?" "They say I'm a burden," I said, smiling faintly. "I'd just like what's mine returned before I'm institutionalized. I think it's a story about where our values truly lie." The article came out on Sunday, on the front page of the business section. The headline was brutal in its simplicity: "Prominent local attorney and wife sought to institutionalize mother after she financed their lifestyle." It had everything. The numbers, the copies of the checks with their endorsements, the photo of my beautiful, empty home, and a quote from me that Margaret had helped me craft: "I don't want to be a burden. I just want the money I lent them back, so I can afford the care they feel I need." The fallout was immediate and nuclear. My phone rang first. It was Chloe, hysterical. "Mom! What have you done? Mark's phone is exploding. His partners are calling. This is a lie." "Is it, Chloe?" I asked calmly. "Check your records. Check the ledger. It's all there." "We were going to pay you back," she shrieked. "When?" I asked. "After you sold my house? After I was tucked away at Silver Birch? When exactly was that going to be?" She hung up on me. The next call was from Mark, his voice a low, furious growl. Eleanor, you have 1 hour to retract this. You're going to destroy my reputation. You tried to destroy my life, Mark, I said. You don't get to complain about the collateral damage. I turned off my phone. I sat by the window and watched. Within an hour, a local news van was parked outside their house. I saw Chloe peek through the blinds, her face a mask of horror. Their carefully cultivated image, the successful, philanthropic young couple, was being publicly flayed. This was the burden I gave them. Not a private debt, but a public shaming. A stain on their names that no amount of money could ever fully erase. The following days were a symphony of chaos for them. Margaret, my pit bull, served them with formal legal notice demanding immediate repayment in full. Mark's law firm placed him on administrative leave, citing the distraction. The country club they were so desperate to join rescinded their membership application. Their friends, the ones they'd impressed with my money, were suddenly unavailable. They came to my house on the 3rd day. The movers were scheduled for the next morning. They looked haggard, aged. "You've ruined us," Chloe said, her voice hollow. "No," I corrected. "I exposed you. There's a difference." "Mom, please," she begged, tears streaming down her face. This time, they were real. "We'll cancel the move. We'll figure something out. Just please, make it stop." "Make what stop?" I asked. "The truth? It has a life of its own now. You can't unring a bell, Chloe." Mark stepped forward, his pride finally broken. "Eleanor, we can't pay you back. Not right now. Not with this scandal. My income is frozen. We'll lose our house." I looked at them, these two architects of their own misery, and I felt a pang of something, not pity, but a profound, weary sadness. "I'm not leaving my home," I stated. "The movers will be turned away. You will sign over the deposit you put on silver birch to me as a first payment. And you will sign a legally binding repayment plan, with interest, for the remaining balance, overseen by Margaret." "And the newspaper?" Mark asked, a flicker of hope in his eyes. "Can you get them to print a retraction?" I almost laughed. "There will be no retraction. That burden is yours to carry. Consider it the interest on the debt of my dignity. Every sideways glance at the country club, every silent pause when you walk into a room, every time someone whispers your name, that is the weight you will bear. That is the real burden. Not an old woman in a house, but the ghost of your own greed." They had no choice. They signed the papers Margaret brought over that evening. The movers were cancelled. The spotlight of scandal eventually moved on, but the shadow remained. They visit me now, every Sunday. The dynamic has shifted irrevocably. The condescension is gone, replaced by a wary, exhausted respect. They are struggling, truly struggling for the first time in their lives, to make the payments, to live within their means. The burden is financial, yes, but it is also spiritual. They are learning the weight of consequence. And I? I am finally free. Free from the endless requests, free from the quiet humiliation, free to live out my days in the home I love, surrounded by the memories I choose to cherish. They thought they could shelve me like a dusty book. They didn't understand that some stories have a final chapter written in fire. I gave them a burden they can never put down, and in doing so, I finally took my own back. The bonds of family can be the source of our greatest strength or our most profound betrayals, my darlings. My story is a reminder that our worth is not determined by our utility to others, and that it is never too late to reclaim your power. If this tale of quiet vengeance and reclaimed dignity resonated with you, if you believe in setting boundaries no matter your age, then please, show this channel your support. Subscribe for more stories of courage and consequence, and let me know in the comments what you would have done in my shoes. Until next time.